friends, welcome back to my channel and to another video. I'm sure as many of you have, I've been hearing a lot of talk about price increases across the fashion houses, how crazy they're getting, and how they're kind of pushing certain shoppers, for example, like myself, who have to actually save and plan for their luxury purchases out of the market. Still the beginning of 2024, we are fresh into the new year, and we've already seen price increases across various brands. Price increases have already been implemented at Hermès, at Tiffany. Chanel price increases have already been projected. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Cartier is also expected to be implementing price increases soon as well. And yeah, so I just wanted to share my thoughts on this because I do think there's a lot to be said. And maybe everything that I'm going to say will be obvious to you, especially if you've been in the luxury market for a while. But as I haven't, it kind of helps for me to think these things through. So bear with me. I've heard a lot of potential reasons behind the price increases that we've been seeing recently, from inflation and even brands purposely trying to price certain groups or certain people out of the market so that they can cater to a wealthier demographic, to even that they're just trying to be more exclusive in general. And I definitely think that there's truth to all of those things and that there's a lot going on that is all very closely related. I believe that all the price increases that we've been seeing over the last few years has a lot to do with how luxury and particularly access to luxury has evolved over the last decade or two. Something interesting that I've really noticed in the comments on videos discussing luxury price increases is people expressing that when they started their luxury collections or buying luxury pieces, maybe 20, 30 years ago, if not longer, luxury at that time was just that, was a luxury, in the sense that, like today, unless people were really well off, they would have to save the money, order the item, wait for it to be made, shipped, delivered before actually, getting their hands on it. So luxury shopping was really quite a journey from start to finish. And that journey wasn't completed in, a trip to the mall or the click of a button. And now we live in a time where luxury is just more accessible to everyone, including myself. And even though I can't really speak to the luxury shopping experience or was buying luxury like maybe a few decades ago, I have even in my lifetime noticed a difference in luxury shopping, maybe 10 years ago versus today. Because when I was growing up, luxury shopping was more for the grown-ups, but I feel like now we see a lot of interest in luxury items, luxury goods among the younger generations. And you even see a lot of these younger kids carrying luxury items. I do think that has a lot to do with tools like, Klarna and Afterpay, especially for the younger kids, who are probably, for the most part, working like part-time jobs and stuff like that, and using these tools to kind of facilitate their shopping. But in a more general sense, I think that it has a lot to do with the fact that today luxury shopping is literally at our fingertips. All we have to do really is open our phone, add something to the cart, and boom, you have made a luxury purchase. You've got yourself a designer bag or shoes or accessories or whatever it is that you like to purchase. It's just so easy now. If you're really interested in the shopping experience, you can go one step further and walk into a mall and pick out what you want, especially if you're in a big city where there's multiple shopping points for these brands. Like, it's just so easy. But it hasn't always been like this. We just happen to live in a time where everything is just more accessible than it has ever been in history, thanks to, technology and globalization and marketing. I'm sure many other moving parts. And luxury brands, like many other businesses, have noticed and taken advantage of that. But in being more accessible, it seems that a lot of these brands have kind of lost their luxury vibe for a lot of people. And I'm wondering if what brands are trying to do with these price increases is make luxury and luxury shopping a luxury experience again. Of course, price increases, at least partially, can be attributed to things like inflation, but let's be real, a lot of it is just what brands are deciding to charge to maximize their profits. In the grand scheme of things, I don't personally think that these brands really care about us or who's shopping with them, because as long as they have demand and consumers, they'll be just fine. regardless of how much they increase their prices, they'll always have top spenders and price insensitive shoppers to rely on. Like, they don't really need the occasional shopper like myself, but will they still take my money if I'm willing to spend it with them? Sure. So, with that said, I don't really think that the notion that brands are purposefully trying to attract wealthier shoppers or push out shoppers who don't belong to the rich or super rich actually holds. Instead, I think those are more consequences of brands' pricing strategies. Like I said, I don't really think that brands care about who's shopping with them overall, but what they do care about with 1,000% certainty is their bottom line and their brand image. And a part of a luxury brand's image is their luxury status. So maintaining that status is of utmost importance. One way to do that is to limit consumers' access to them by becoming more expensive, which meanwhile caters to their bottom line. Meaning, yes, there will be fewer of their items on the street if fewer people are buying, and that translates into greater exclusivity and thus an enhanced perception of luxury. So, yeah, all of that kind of leaves me to wonder if really these price increases are not intended at their core to price people out. That's definitely a consequence. Like we've established, these brands will take your money regardless of who you are or what your finances are like, as long as you're willing to fork it over. I think that now these brands have done their marketing, their branding, created, such strong desire for their items. They're in a way like taking a collective step back, almost as a result of how successful they've been. And now they're focusing instead on protecting and restoring their luxury image and luxury status in a way that will reinstate the luxury shopping experience from maybe 3 or 4 decades ago, before globalization and mass production were such common realities. On a related note, I do think that we get more of that luxury feeling with the brands where not everything we want is always readily available. For example, with Hermès, not only do you not know whether you'll ever be able to purchase one of their more coveted bags, but stock is always such a challenge, and getting your hands on everyday items like shoes and accessories and jewelry can be a journey of its own. With Van Cleef and Arpels, which only has a single workshop in Paris to service orders from around the world, orders can take up to a year to be fulfilled. And maybe this is just me, but because of those wait times, purchasing from those brands can feel a bit more special, especially in a world where everything, including luxury items, it's just normally readily available. Shopping with brands that kind of make you work for it can, I think, make the whole experience a bit more luxurious overall than, say, shopping with a brand where you can walk in and pick out whatever you want. So maybe Hermes has been doing things the right way the entire time. Who's to say that if their items were so readily available, they'd be as in demand as they are now? So, yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that these brands are implementing price increases to price people out, or to kind of protect and maintain their luxury brand status? Because I personally definitely think that it's more of the latter, whereas pricing people out is more of a consequence of the pricing strategies in general. And on that note, do you think that their pricing strategies will work for them? I think that counterfeits are going to become an even bigger problem for luxury brands than they are now, which I also think damages brand image. I don't condone counterfeits and I would never buy one, but a lot of people would and do. And I've seen a lot of people comment that in response to these price increases, they're just going to go the counterfeit route, especially because counterfeits nowadays are so good and so cheap. So I personally think that, these brands' endeavors to protect their brand image and maybe like bolster their luxury status through these price increases may actually end up being counterproductive in the long run. Guys, those are my thoughts on the luxury price increases that we've been seeing over the recent years and already in 2024. I'd love to hear what your thoughts on the issue are as well. And also let me know if you like this kind of more chatty video, because if you do, I can definitely incorporate more of them on my channel. I also just wanted to thank you all for watching my recent jewelry wishlist video. I had a lot of fun chatting with you in the comments. And I wanted to let you know that my next video will be all about my 2024 handbag slash leather goods wish list. So I hope to have you back for that video next week. In the meantime, though, please come join me over on Instagram where I share curated photos and videos. But that's it for today. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.